Today, I'm going to walk you through a very small part of my garden. And it's kind of what I call my pollinator meadow. It's my sun garden. And my garden, if you've watched very many of my videos, you've seen that I just don't have an abundance of sun. So I have sun, but I don't have full blasting direct sun. And so opportunities to grow some of these dry garden, sun-loving plants are a little bit limited. So what I've done is I've taken this part of my garden, which is the front southeast corner, or excuse me, southwest corner. And once upon a time, if you look closely, you can see that there used to be a driveway there. And all the way towards the back, we had a little tiny garage. This is a, old style 1920s bungalow in Portland, Oregon. And so the driveways are narrow, the garages were small. And part of the development of our property involved removing the garage and building my studio back there, but that's a different story. Today, we're just looking at what remains of that driveway, and that's the area. Actually, these are the old driveway treads, pieces of concrete that ran all the way up and to the garage in the far back. So left those in place so that this is technically still a parking spot, which of course we do not use, but we could use it in an emergency. Anyways, so that's what this spot is. It's not on any regular irrigation and honestly, I'm really trying to push myself in terms of how much I water out here and not really even giving it that much supplemental hand watering. So I've been having a blast with it though. I mean, it really is a great opportunity to grow some of the real sun lovers. So let's go ahead and take a little closer look. And what we're going to see are things that are happening now, and then I'll point out things that are going to happen later, and then things that um, have already happened. So as we go up here, I've got lamb's ear. So this is Helene Von Stein. So Stachys Helene Von Stein, which I really grow for its foliage, that nice basal foliage, the silvery fuzzy leaves. But it's also a good bloomer. And I'm letting it bloom out here because I've noticed that, bees really are attracted to it, and it's just a real, always active with insect life. This is a love-hate relationship I have with this guy. That's a Verbena bonariensis. It's a rampant self-seeder, and I am kind of on a campaign to get rid of most of it, but occasionally one sneaks through. This is another Stachys, so cousin to this guy. This is Stachys Hummelo, and I've got one down here kind of at the bottom, and then I've got another one up top here. This one is actually the one that's, uh, I don't know, probably most attractive right now. For whatever reason, the one down below on the hill is kind of short and squat and not blooming as much. But you can just see lots of activity on that. It's a easy to grow perennial, super hardy, very drought tolerant. This one here is I didn't really think of it as a super drought tolerant plant, but it has come to be that in my mind because that one there is actually a little self-seeded volunteer that has just done really well out here for the last 3 years or so. So it goes through, blooms very profusely. At some point, I'll cut it back, but just flowers and flowers and flowers, and doesn't seem to ask much in terms of care. Of course, the echinaceas are always a real treat. This one is called Big Kahuna, and it is very showy. A little farther up the bed, we'll look at one that's a little less showy. But I just love that. Now, as you're looking at this one, you may feel like we just saw this plant already. there is similarities in look and feel to this one as to the Stachys that we just looked at, but this is different. This is that Liatris, common name gay feather. So just kind of purple wands, and those are just getting started. All those back there are going to bloom. Also in here we had some Pulsatilla that's already done its thing, a digitalis, Sempervivums, which are just kind of a ground cover that we pepper here and there to kind of hold the soil and look good through the year. Now, let's see if I can show you something that I'm really, really loving. So you can see that movement, see that grass? It's very, very subtle, very hard to get in a still photograph, a little easier to get as I'm doing a video. And it contributes more to this bed than the images might imply, because it just has this real soft movement, and it just kind of weaves through. My understanding is it's going to do little polite self-seeding through the bed, which I'm A-okay with. I've probably got like about 5 starts in there right now. And I just love that just kind of subtle movement. Working up the bed, we've got this Echinacea, a lot more delicate, not nearly as showy as the some of the more cultivated varieties. This is Echinacea pallida, and they've been out here for a couple of years, but I have to say they're really starting to come into their own this year. So we've got those. We've also got a Agastache or in here, and we had some alliums. Those are the seed heads, and over there we have I think it's a Heliopsis. I'm going to double check myself. I'll put the name up on the screen there. But a really interesting one with kind of bright variegated foliage. And farther up the way, a little harder to see in this video. There's a few other things in there that have been coming and going. And as you can see up top here, a little bit of shade in the early part of the day, but it does open up and become quite sunny a little later. So got a self-seeding native annual in there, kind of in the blues. This is coming on, so you can't hardly see it there. Let's see if I can get it in focus. It's a scabiosa type. Anyways, I'm just so enjoying this so much, and it gives me a chance to grow and experiment with plants that I don't get to grow in other parts of my garden because they're kind of non-negotiable sun lovers. They want what they want, and they're not going to perform to their best abilities in other parts of my garden that are much more shady and less consistent sun. So hope you enjoyed this little closer peek at a very small garden and my pollinator meadow. And for overall context, I'll just show you, step back one more time. We've looked at some of these other garden beds, but this is where that guy is in relation to the rest of the garden. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at a different and new part of my garden that I don't believe that we've actually looked at that closely in the past. If you enjoy that type of content, I really hope that you'll take a moment to like and subscribe to my eGarden Go channel. And beyond that, if you are interested in learning more about some of the plants that you see and getting ideas and inspiration for how to include them successfully in your garden, I want to introduce you to eGarden Go. eGarden Go is the website that I've created that is a tool to help gardeners be more successful in combining plants and creating beautiful combinations that not only look great, but will perform well in your garden. So I hope you'll check it out, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you like this type of content. Till next time.